In southeastern Turkey, an unassuming hill hides a discovery that has fundamentally shattered our understanding of human civilization. The archaeological site of Göbekli Tepe is rewriting history and forcing experts to radically rethink what it means to be human. Unearthed by German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt in the 1990s and meticulously excavated since. This monumental complex of T-shaped pillars and circular enclosures dates back to the pre-pottery Neolithic period, an astonishing 11,500 years ago. That's at least 7,000 years before Stonehenge was constructed and an incredible 11,000 years before the pyramids of Giza were built. But most remarkably, new discoveries suggest that it was not simply a settlement but a large-scale ceremonial center inhabited only seasonally by hunter-gatherers. Yes, you heard that right. A monumental sacred complex built by people who lived off the land and never farmed. For decades, scholars had dismissed the possibility that such a structure could have been built without the organization and labor force provided by agriculture. But now, that hypothesis has been completely overturned. The carefully preserved site of Göbekli Tepe, which literally means pot-bellied hill in Turkish, was first identified in the 1960s. However, it wasn't until 1994 that excavations began under the direction of Klaus Schmidt. His team unearthed the foundations of several round enclosures and dozens of T-shaped pillars, some decorated with animal reliefs. Although Göbekli Tepe had been known about for over 30 years at this point, the discovery of these monumental pillars shocked the scientific community. But it was far from the full story. Over the next 2 decades, meticulous excavations revealed a sprawling complex covering nearly 30 acres, tens of thousands of animal bones, primitive stone tools, and traces of hearths indicated a large occupation area surrounding the temple complex. Yet, despite its size, no houses or other permanent structures were found, suggesting the inhabitants were nomadic and had no intention of settling permanently in the area. Carbon dating of animal bones, charcoal and soil samples confirmed that the site was occupied during 3 distinct periods, totaling just 800 years between 9,600 and 8,000 BCE. Then it was abruptly abandoned, possibly due to climatic shifts. Most shockingly, the analysis of animal bones revealed that none of the species represented had ever been domesticated. There were wild boars, gazelles, foxes, wolves, birds, and fish, but nothing that had been selectively bred by humans. This finding directly challenged the prevailing theory that the domestication of plants and animals was a prerequisite for settled life and the formation of complex societies. Clearly, something else had brought these people together in one place. After studying the site, archaeologists believe that Göbekli Tepe was used as a ceremonial center, a kind of prehistoric Mecca to which people traveled periodically from distant settlements to participate in religious rituals and festivals. But if these hunter-gatherers didn't farm, where did they get the resources to build such a massive structure? Analysis of flint deposits, where patterns and microscopic traces of use revealed that the builders of Göbekli Tepe likely acquired their raw materials by exploiting the natural resources of the region. The forests to the north provided abundant flint, while the rolling hills to the south contained high concentrations of limestone. Rather than quarrying, they probably collected finished stones that had been eroded out of the hillsides and washed into nearby gullies by natural processes. This strategy required cooperation and coordination over large areas, suggesting that the construction of Göbekli Tepe may have been a group effort involving hundreds of people working together for weeks or months at a time. More recent research has pushed the timeline back even further. Some scholars now argue that the earliest phase of the site dates to around 11,500 years ago. making it the oldest temple on Earth. To put that in perspective, the Egyptian pyramids weren't built until 10,500 years after Göbekli Tepe was constructed. The scale and sophistication of the monumentality is unparalleled for its age. The pillars are truly awe-inspiring, some standing over 18 feet tall and weighing as much as 20 tons. They were erected in precise alignments, arranged in circles, ovals, or along semicircular walls. Many of the pillars display intricate carvings of animals, including scorpions, snakes, boars, and gazelles. Some appear to have heads of human-like figures. Others show abstract geometric patterns. While much of the iconography remains enigmatic, the sheer volume and variety of animal reliefs indicate a rich mythological world and a society with a strong tradition of symbolic thought. So, who built this magnificent site, and why did they bury it thousands of years later? These are still central questions that researchers are trying to answer. One compelling hypothesis proposes that complex religion and communal ritual were the driving force behind the initial gathering of people in one place. Scholars have observed parallels between Göbekli Tepe and later pilgrimage sites like the Hindu temple complex of Haryana, which was also constructed without agriculture and served as a destination for seasonal religious festivals. Given the prevalence of animal bones from hunted species, archaeologists believe that the inhabitants of Göbekli Tepe may have shared meat meals communally after hunts, perhaps strengthening bonds between visiting groups and encouraging cooperation in building and maintaining the shrine. Over time, the temple would have become a focal point for trade and exchange networks connecting distant settlements. Its abandonment may have coincided with a change in religious practices, or a shift in resource availability driven by climatic fluctuations. While the mystery of its purpose endures, the function of the site is less important than its implications for understanding the origins of civilization. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe has forced historians to discard the long-held theory that complex societal structures, specialized labor, and monumental architecture could only emerge after the invention of agriculture. In fact, the idea that farming was a prerequisite for social complexity has been called the Holy Grail of archaeology. It held such sway that when Göbekli Tepe was first uncovered, many experts refused to believe a non-agricultural society could have built such a structure. They argued that hunter-gatherers lacked the organization and population density necessary for large-scale projects. Agriculture, they claimed, was a prerequisite for settling people in one place long enough to construct something so permanent. But Göbekli Tepe disproved this hypothesis once and for all. Some scholars have attempted to downplay the significance of Göbekli Tepe by suggesting it was simply a small settlement with a few monumental outliers. However, the latest research indicates the site covered an area of at least 25 hectares and functioned primarily as a ritual landscape. More importantly, it predates the supposed cradle of civilization in Mesopotamia by over 1,000 miles to the east. This geographic distance suggests that civilization did not arise spontaneously from a single origin point, but occurred independently in multiple regions across the globe at roughly the same time. Although Göbekli Tepe was constructed before the advent of pottery, sophisticated symbolic thought and artistic expression clearly flourished. This too challenges conventional narratives about human prehistory. For decades, the prevailing view held that the cognitive abilities necessary for creating complex symbols evolved gradually over time. Göbekli Tepe demonstrates that sophisticated symbolic culture could emerge suddenly and independently in different parts of the world. What do you think? Do you find the discovery of Göbekli Tepe fascinating? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. and remember to subscribe for more updates on all things history. While the debate over the meaning of Göbekli Tepe continues, one thing is certain: the discovery of this site has irrevocably changed our understanding of human history. We can now say with confidence that modern civilization did not begin with the invention of agriculture, as many scholars had long assumed, nor did it arise suddenly and spontaneously in one location. Instead, complex societies arose independently in various parts of the Old World almost simultaneously, drawing inspiration from shared cultural traits like symbolic thought and monumental architecture. Göbekli Tepe stands as irrefutable proof of this, a magnificent yet enigmatic complex that reminds us how much of the past still eludes our understanding. And with that, our journey through time comes to an end for today. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Until next time, keep exploring, and I'll see you then.